If there's ever a land of fairy tales and legends, it has to be Kashmir. And one such legend that lives through and transcends time is the legend of Nadir or Nadru or lotus root as we know it. And it's impossible that we talk about Kashmir and not talk about Nadru. Hi, this is Ranveer Brar and you're watching me on India in 21 Recipes. Let's do a Nadru Rogan Josh from Kashmir, because you cannot talk about India without talking about Kashmir. Sometimes they're even longer. And if you really want to go lotus root hunting, you should go to the Dal Lake, where you actually have lotus root farms, and early in the morning at like 5 o'clock, you have lotus root markets, which are the floating markets selling vegetables, flowers and Nadru or lotus root on shikaras. That's quite a sight. I can't forget it. Now what do we do with this? The first thing we do with the lotus root is cut it into two, and the reason you see all of them cut into two is because when you cut into two, can check if it's spoiled or not, right? And so after that we take our Victorinox universal peeler, go about peeling our lotus root. You know, the reasons I love the universal peeler is because it's double-sided. So whether you are a left-hander or a right-hander, you can use it. More importantly, you can also peel downwards or upwards. And I'm going to use the Victorinox Swiss Modern walnut handle 20 centimeter carving knife because one, it has a broad blade. Two, it gives me the grip, the power, the maneuverability to work with the strong vegetables like a Nadru. So classically you would make this recipe with lamb, but I'm going to make this with Nadru. Nadru would typically be used for like Nadru Yakhni or Sok Nadir, which is like a sour sabzi of Nadru. In fact, one of the most interesting dishes I had, which was not in Kashmir, actually in Ladakh, but made by a Kashmiri lady, was a cauliflower Rogan Josh. An outstanding dish, outstanding. I can never forget that. Again, a Rogan Josh can be made two ways. It can be made the Kashmiri Muslim way or the Kashmiri Hindu way. Now when you make it the Kashmiri Muslim way, you add pran, which is the Kashmiri onion. You fry the Kashmiri onion, make a paste of it. However, if you make it the Kashmiri Hindu way, you do not add the onion, you add hing, asafoetida. I'm just going to end up making a lot of it, but that's all right. It's all going to get finished. In fact, one of my most favorite dishes is fried Nadru. You know, you get these Nadru sticks that are fried, deep fried, and you get them in the evenings when you're driving around. That's another beautiful rendering of a Nadru. Now, Nadru is hard, right? It can be very woody at times. That's why you need to really boil it well. Sometimes you use a pressure cooker. Some other times, if you had the time, you would just boil it in water. To the water, I'm just going to add one black cardamom, just for flavor, and another. Now let me introduce you to another exotic ingredient from Kashmir, and that is Cockscomb, right? Again, a flower that almost grows in every garden in Kashmir. It's called mawal. In Kashmir, you'll get it in any market you go. You also get mawal powder, right? Mawal is used for dyes. Initially, it used to be used as dyes for clothing. Eventually, it came on to food, and ever since then, if you want natural red color in your food, Mawal is the answer, right? Now, let's extract the color from Mawal. We just keep boiling it till it loses color in the water. Every time you clean a nadru, it's a good idea to wash it really well. I was just lucky that I had some very good and clean nadru. Please don't follow my bad example, please wash it. One of the most common misconceptions about Rogan Josh is that it's cooked in ghee or one of those exotic fats. No, it's supposed to be cooked in mustard oil. Now, whenever you're cooking with mustard oil, you got to allow it to smoke. Smoking is really important. Till the time it smokes, you don't really get the nuttiness out, right? So, it's about letting it smoke till your eyes water. Once your eyes water, mustard oil is ready. That is the most common way to check if mustard oil is ready or not. It's important to give Nadir enough time in the oil. That whole frying is what really adds the element of texture, nuttiness, that extra flavor that you expect from a nadru. So do not just be in a hurry. When you're frying nadru, let it color. Let it color to either an even golden brown, or at least let it get chars of golden brown on the edges. I love this smell. Now we take some yogurt. To that we add fennel powder, ginger powder, ideally you would add Kashmiri chili paste, but you could also add Kashmiri chili powder. Normally, whenever you go to any Vazwan, there are two pastes that any Vaza will always have. One is the chili paste, and if it is a Muslim Vazwan, then they would have a prawn paste or a fried Kashmiri shallot paste. The chili paste is whenever he wants to extract color, and the onion paste is wherever he wants to use thickening. So these are the two pastes that you will surely find in any Vaza's kitchen. Also, the reason I am giving it a lot of time in the oil is because I'm also trying to dry the nadru out. If I dry it out, it will soak in the flavors from the gravy more. Now it's time to add hing. And you fry the hing. Very important, you never leave the hing raw. And most of Kashmiri cooking is always done in high flame, right? And that is why all the cooking happens and the fat and everything else gets emulsified with it. I'm adding the mawal water for two reasons. One is obviously color. Two is I want it to reduce a little bit before I add my yogurt. Otherwise it won't really reduce after that. And now goes the yogurt mixture. See, normally whenever you're making mutton Rogan Josh, You don't want your yogurt to be too sour. But if you're making a Nadru Rogan Josh, then you want your yogurt to be sour. Because sour is a good combination with lotus stem. Why do you keep stirring it? You keep stirring it because the yogurt is going to split anyways, right? One of the biggest misconceptions is that yogurt doesn't split. Yogurt will split. It's the nature of yogurt to split. What happens if you continuously stir it? It splits into really small particles. Beautiful. And we're done. If this was lamb, you would have really fried the lamb hard and then cooked it for a really long time. But because the lotus root is really well cooked, Nadru is also called lotus root or lotus stem. So if you see me using interchanging names, please excuse me. It's called lotus root, lotus stem, Nadru, Nadir, Bain, Bheen, Bain. You know, everywhere in India it's different names, and the world, of course. Also, the spices that you've added in the yogurt, they also need their time to cook, right? And they are cooking in the extra fat. So all this fat that is there in it is basically roasting the spices slowly, and that is typical about Kashmiri food. So Kashmiri food does not have tempering, tadka as we call it. It is just that everything cooks all together, and the fat does its own bit of sort of bhunoing. Nice. You know, being a Punjabi, I'm very tempted to garnish this with coriander. But then you never mess with the legends, do you? And this is one such legend. The legend of Nadru, or Nadir as they say in Kashmir. This is Chef Ranveer signing off on India in 21 recipes. And yes, I'll be back with more such legends because India is the country of legends.